So I say the following with the utmost respect, I really do. You know how there are people in your life, as well as people you encounter, and they say something along the lines of, you know what, oh, I don't do that politics stuff at work, I don't do that corporate thing, I don't do corporate politics, that's not me. And most of the time people who complain like that, hey, I don't do that corporate thing, etc., and they kind of moan about it, it's always sort of in this kind of frustrating tone, right? In other words, you know that they would want something better. You know why they're saying that? Mainly, it's because, quite honestly, they don't know how to, okay? And that's just the simple truth. It really is. Believe me, I've made my share of mistakes in the past when it comes to exactly this sort of thing, and I've learned throughout the years, and that's what I'm trying to share with you right now. I'm sorry, it's kind of like when guys say, oh, I don't meet girls in bars, that's not my thing. Oh, what, you have some sort of objection to meeting girls in a bar, some sort of moral, issue with this? It's because, quite honestly, you don't know how to talk to girls in a bar. Let's face it, that's what's really going on, because I'm sorry, I just don't believe you as a guy. I just don't believe you that, all you do is meet girls in a church or the supermarket or the library. I'm not here trying to tell you to sell your soul. You don't have to sell your soul to a company or anything like that. But let me first give you the definition of politics, and this is not about politicians. Politics is the ability to successfully maneuver within a group dynamic. That's all it is. That is really all it is. So, that person that basically is somewhat decent at their job, and they seem to, however, every 2 to 3 years get promoted. They know what types of people to bind themselves around. They know what to say to certain people. They know what not to say to other people, and so on. And these are the types of people that continue to move up and up and up. And that's, again, because mainly of their political skills. Believe me, I've learned in the past, so I'm not here to preach to you and tell you something just for the sake of telling you in some theoretical fashion. I'm really trying to share with you in a practical way that people didn't necessarily tell me. Now, throughout your career, especially in your 20s and even early 30s, people tell you some stuff, but they don't really kind of spell it out for you. If you are just simply doing your job, and even if you do it well and you are frustrated that no one is promoting you, it's because mainly due to this reason. Assuming that there aren't other reasons that are going on, at play. I obviously wouldn't know that. But you are not going to be promoted. You are not going to move up the corporate ladder, so to speak, assuming that that's what you want, by just simply doing your job and doing your job well. All that means is that you're just simply doing your job well. It doesn't have anything to do with elevating yourself. Elevating yourself has a lot to do with understanding the power dynamic, the group dynamic, the people dynamic, and you have this particular chance if you really start to understand and better embrace what corporate politics is really all about. And it's also a good thing to understand your bosses, whether they are your bosses for some time or whether they are a new boss that has come in from the outside. Why would you want to sort of just do your job and do your job well and go home and just sort of, 9 to 5, 5 days a week? You want to basically showcase yourself. You want to learn how to become comfortable with self-promotion. There's nothing wrong with that. The people who are good at it, they're good at it. The people who have the ability to get better at it, like you do, are going to ultimately move forward a lot more than people who really don't do any of that sort of thing. Is there a fine balance between, kissing someone's you-know-what versus, kind of being political? Yeah, sure there is, but you at the same time want to make sure that you are known. You don't want to have all this sort of, space between yourself, between, the people who play those political games, play the corporate politics, and you that's basically just doing your job well. You're not going to get anything that way. And this is just the reality of it. And this is why we call this, there's a term in corporate that almost every industry uses, And it's the difference between an IC, which we call individual contributor, versus manager. And I'm just using the term manager in a sort of generic way. Manager could be an associate manager with one employee who reports to them, or it could be the executive vice president or the president or the CEO of a company. I'm just using the term manager like that, but you have to kind of understand that if you are not going to get into any sort of corporate politicking, then unfortunately there is a pretty good chance you will remain an IC, an individual contributor. So now you know it. Make sure you do not forget to embrace the concept of corporate politics. You just really need to. It's a necessity. So send me your comments and questions, and each week you'll get a chance to win a copy of my book. And I'll answer your comments and questions during the QA video for that week.